Hello again. Now, Ousted Ekurhuleni Mayor Tania Campbell says she will not give up the fight. Yesterday, she was voted out as mayor during a motion of no confidence tabled by the ANC. She's being accused of allegedly neglecting Ekurhuleni residents. Campbell says her fellow DA members are disappointed with the motion's results. Well, let's get some analysis now from political analyst Sandile Swana. Sandile, good afternoon. Welcome to today here on eNCA. Thank you very much for your time. Interesting times indeed for these coalitions, although they say we must not use the term DA-led coalition because it's a partnership, it's multi-party coalition. The fact remains that Tania Campbell is DA and she was the mayor, and now the DA-led coalition in Ekurhuleni is no longer in charge.
Yes, I think the problem lies right there because the DA and even the ANC both are not yet comfortable with truthfully accepting that these are supposed to be multi-party coalitions that incorporate other parties. So that idea of wanting to be dominant and even excluding other parties against the principal objective, which Herman Mathaba and Action SA stated that the objective was to get rid of the ANC. And the word ANC represents a number of things which would include corruption, incompetence, and non-performance, which is really what is the problem. So the DA could not keep its eyes on the objective and instead has been preoccupied with obliterating the EFF or excluding the EFF.
Yeah, I think when you're a big party, it must be difficult to change your mindset when you have a multi-party coalition agreement. But if you need to stay in power, you really have to include and accommodate the voices from the so-called smaller parties. I understand as we speak with you, the ANC has been busy holding talks about the next mayor of Ekurhuleni, consulting the different political parties who helped it to remove Ms. Campbell as mayor of Gauteng. How should they approach this? Because the residents of Ekurhuleni deserve a local government that's functioning to deliver the services, not benefiting at all from these political squabbles.
The first step in forming these coalitions, even for the ANC, is to first of all be honest and admit that the two previous administrations they've run, for instance, in Ekurhuleni and Zandile Masina and so on, that those coalitions and administrations got them voted out because of poor performance. So the caliber of person that they need to put in there as a mayor and other members of the mayoral committee need to be on a standard that has not been seen in the past 10 years in Ekurhuleni. It's a standard really that needs to be very, very high, which has been lacking so far in Ekurhuleni.
Yeah, do you think it's worth it for Ms. Campbell and the DA to fight back? She says it's not over yet. She's just not going to give up. The DA says they're disappointed with losing the motion of no confidence against her.
The truth of the matter is that both Mpho Phalatse and Tania Campbell have not lost the positions. The people who have lost these positions would be the provincial chairperson and the national chairperson of the DA, who are unable to accommodate local politics as understood by Tania Campbell and Mpho Phalatse, who are on the ground in these metros of Gauteng. Gauteng is a very different province. If ever there was a rainbow nation, it is Gauteng, more than any other province. So you can't approach the politics of Gauteng with a Western Cape mentality or any other mentality. And that is the problem now that these two mayors have faced.
Yeah, which means Mpho Phalatse now returning to work after the court earlier this week found that her removal by the Joburg Council was unlawful, is facing a tough task ahead in light of the context you've just painted.
Yeah, it's a very tough task because Simango and Helen Zille are not playing ball. They are not in the politics of the residents of Gauteng. They are in the politics of the DA. For instance, you and me who live in these areas, we would have said there's nothing wrong with the EFF supporting them to retain power as long as they are putting a high performance team in place. To us, we may not have any particular beef with the EFF, but the DA, for reasons best known to themselves and private reasons, are opposing the EFF from actually giving them power and maintaining this. And Action SA has been very detailed in explaining how the DA has undermined these coalitions.
Yeah, so the challenge then from Popalatse back in office is going to have to try to convince the DA leadership, as in Solim Simang and Helen Zille, as you say, to allow her to have some level of free rein in constituting an effective and supported local council in Joburg.
Yes, absolutely so. And I think that the Gauteng province is a mega city by itself. You cannot compare it to any other thing on the African continent. And to come with what you might even call Plateland politics to compare with a mega metro like this, you are not. You may find that the people in the other provinces are 5 years behind in their thinking and understanding of the dynamic politics of the day. The people of Gauteng have got no problem with a full-scale multi-party coalition. The old veterans who are used to taking power and becoming party bosses and dictators have a problem with what the people of Gauteng want.
Yeah, let's go to Ekurhuleni very quickly, Sandile, before we conclude. You mentioned earlier, in answer to one of my questions, that the ANC would have to approach the Ekurhuleni mayorship or mayoral role with the firstly step to say, we acknowledge we messed up when we were in charge before as the ANC in Ekurhuleni. We were voted out because we didn't deliver fully and the way we were supposed to. But in the same vein, leadership will become an issue. Who do you think could be emerging from the ANC in Ekurhuleni as the new mayor? Or whom should they look for and convince to take the mayoral chains of Ekurhuleni?
I do not have an answer in terms of a name. Certainly, my advice to them is that they must not put Mzwandile Masina into that position again, because he has cost them the election. So what that means is that even if they choose within the ANC, but certainly amongst the parties of the coalition, they must choose somebody with a credible track record of performance. The voters are no longer looking for somebody who's eloquent, this, that, and the other. They look for somebody who's going to produce the actual results. We have water shedding, we have load shedding, we have all kinds of investment shedding, job shedding. So you need somebody who can actually get things done.
Yeah, and finally in Johannesburg, Popalatse back in office and saying that the rightful administration is back. But she's facing a prospect of another vote of no confidence. There's a lot of instability in Joburg.
Yeah, Popalatse is on a slippery slope. I don't think she will last unless Helen Zille decides to make a deal with Julius Malema and the EFF. That is the bottom line of this.
Thank you very much, Sandile Swana, for your time and insights as we look at these two metros of Gauteng, Ekurhuleni on the one hand and the city of Johannesburg. We'll have to wait and see what's going to transpire over the next few hours. The ANC currently, the latest information I have is that they've been busy consulting with the various political parties in Ekurhuleni as they want to form the new council going forward. And of course, we'll have to wait and see who's going to be the new mayor of Ekurhuleni from the ANC ranks.